I've arrived. I'm at the lake here. This is Clear Lake. So there's a town of Clear Lake, and then this is Clear Lake, or part of it. Behind me here, you'll see shortly, is this remnants of an ancient volcano, apparently. It's pretty cool. So that's probably going to be my subject, along with the lake here. Looks pretty cool. It's morning, so we got some good light. The light's kind of flat, actually. The light's directly behind me, so it's a little flat, but what am I gonna do? Can't really do much, just kind of capture the moment and do my best. We're still seeing some remnants of the COVID thing going on right now in mid-June 2020. There's these playgrounds are closed. I don't really know if I'm allowed to be walking where I'm walking, but I don't know, it's not taped off or anything, so that could be my subject. Add in some of these trees maybe to add some depth, some closer trees. There's a bench right here. I might just sit at this bench. It's in the shade, perfect view. There's the ancient volcano over there. Seems pretty cool to me. I could end up walking way over there. There's a guy fishing. I could end up getting a better view over there, but I kind of like having these foreground trees to kind of add some depth, more color. So yeah, that's my thought. But it's been a while since I've done a painting, man, so I'm excited. It's been a while since I've done plein air, actually, is what I mean. I've been doing a lot of live streaming, a lot of studio paintings, and it feels good to be back out doing some plein air. And hopefully I'll be doing more of this in the future, very soon. So let's do a painting, man. All right, folks, check it out. Starting out with the sky here, obviously. I'm using a round brush here for my painting. Going to use this brush most of the time. It's pretty good size for this sketchbook. I believe it's a number 16 round. And so this first layer that I'm putting on is, I decided I'm to just do wet into wet for the whole first layer and try to let everything bleed together. I wanted more softness in my work. And I'm trying to stay loose. That's the main thing. And one way to do that is kind of just let things bleed together and kind of get rid of the control that I have and kind of let the watercolor take over for the most part. Just let things bleed together, run together for this first layer. And once that dried, I decided to add in these darks for the trees because there's not a lot of contrast in this scene. As you guys saw earlier, the light's very flat, which means it's lit from the front. So we're not seeing any of the shadows. The shadows are behind everything. So I tried to add in some darkness wherever I could to add some depth, a little bit of dark in the water there. So at this stage, it's looking kind of funny. You know, it's kind of the ugly stage. And this was a very challenging painting, trying to create something out of this scene. I ended up inventing a little bit of shadows here, as we'll see in the background. Something very subtle on the hill in the background, as I'm doing here. I'm separating it from the sky with this slight purpley glaze, and here I'm putting in some shadow. Just suggestions, really, really softly, some shadows back there. And now I'm working on the water line where the volcano meets the water. And it's cool. There was a lot of little white houses and things, people living near this in these hills. And I decided to try to get as thick as I could the white watercolor paint. This isn't gouache, this is watercolor, white watercolor. As thick as I could. Very minimal water, a lot of pigment. And put in some of the houses there and do some last bit of splattering here, some yellow green splattering and then some darker splattering for some texture and foliage. And that pretty much concludes the painting process. So we'll take a look at it up close here in just a second. Well, that was a pretty good painting session. I was a little worried, in parts of it, but it came out pretty well as always for the most part. So there's the final sketch with the tape off. And I'm pretty happy about this one because I was able to get a lot of softness in the beginning, a lot of soft edges. Hard edges tend to come to me very naturally with watercolor, so I've been wanting to get a lot more soft edges into my work. You know, I was able to get a little bit of splattering in there, a lot of different color shifts, you know, even just making up a little bit of shadowing in the background on the mountain, ancient volcano, just try to make something up, but I think it came out pretty well. So yeah, I'm actually surprised with how that one, it seems a lot more loose, a lot different than a lot of my other work. I think a lot of the live streams and like the studio work I've been doing has been very helpful for me to like loosen up and just try new things, and I think it's bleeding over into my plein air work. So I think it's so cool going out and doing plein air so much for so many years, you know, 2 years or something, and then finally doing some a little bit larger studio work, and then going back to the plein air. You know, both of them are very beneficial. You know, I don't think you can just do one or the other. I think it is important to do some stuff in the studio every once in a while and just try out some new techniques, try out some larger paper, bigger brushes, different, you know, different things. Like I said, more softness, wet into wet. So that's what I'm trying to play around with, and just be a little more loose with the colors and the brush strokes and the rendering. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. Looks like I have one more page in this sketchbook, and then I'm gonna move to this larger sketchbook that I have. So if you can see the difference here, guys, in the sizes. So this is a sketchbook I've been currently using. One more page left, and then this is the new one I'm going to switch to. This is a 5x7. This is a 7x10. So might be able to get a lot more loose with this, do some better rendering. You know, not tighter rendering, but maybe more loose. I can use a bigger brush. Just be able to fit a little bit more on the page. Like, this was very difficult to fit on the whole thing on the page. Unfortunately, you know, you just have to paint and draw so small. So I'm looking forward to working a little bit larger. This seems like a really good size, so I might do this from from now on, just go with a little bit bigger when I travel and do plein air. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this little episode. I know it was kind of quick. Stay tuned for more, and take care of yourself. Peace. See you on the next one.